Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lakshmi Kushwaha and today we are going to study labor welfare. Again, this is a lengthy topic. We will be studying in the different parts but very important from exam point of view. Maximum questions are asked from the labor welfare. So today we are going to understand the concept what is labor welfare and study the approaches of labor welfare. So let's understand what do you mean by labor welfare. The term welfare means thinking or labor. When we say labor, it is about the employee, workman or the labor working in the organization, industries or any kind of establishment. And when we talk about the welfare, it is providing various kind of services, facilities and any kind of amenities for the betterment or improving the condition or the status of the employee or the labor in the establishment. So this labor welfare is done even from the employer side, even from the government and even from the some private institutions or institutions only. So what is labor welfare? Labor welfare as defined by International Labor Welfare can be defined as a term which is understood to include such services, facilities and amenities as may be established in or in the vicinity of the undertaking to enable the person employed in them to perform their work in healthy, congenial surroundings and to provide them with amenities conducive to good health and high morale. So when we say the employees working in the organization has got canteen facility, has got transport facility, has got restroom facility, has got crèche facility. So what is all this? These are nothing but the welfare facilities which are provided either through the compulsory way, which is through the legislation, or through the voluntary way which employer does from its side. Like they provide the insurance, they provide the transport, they provide the child care, they provide the child's education and so on. So these are nothing but the labor welfare facilities which are provided to the employees with a thought to provide them to work in healthy collegial surrounding and to give them conducive and good health and high morale. So imagine an employee who is having all those services, all those facilities available to them. Automatically they would be having a high morale as compared to the employees those who are not having these facilities. So if my life where the place I'm working is comfortable, I would be having more attachment with that working place rather than if I'm not having. So this is the labor welfare facilities which are provided by the employer. Now let's move to the important concept, Indian Constitution on the labor welfare. So our Indian Constitution also has got certain articles which talk about providing the labor welfare facilities. Article 38, it directly makes, so now these all are directive principles of state policies, DPSP. So it makes the state responsible to secure the social order for the promotion of the welfare of the people. It means within the state you should form those policies, those orders, those procedures, those rules and regulations in such a way that they are focused on promotion of the welfare of the people. Article 41 says that within the limits of economic capacity and development, every state shall provide the provisions through the legislation or through any policies or procedure for securing their right at work, to education, to public assistance in the case of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement and other cases. So all these are nothing but the welfare facilities. When we give up the education, when we talk about right at work, when we talk about giving the benefits at the old age, sickness and disablement, that is assistance, that is helping them. 42 article mandates the state should make a provision to secure just and humane condition. So just and humane condition means if the person is working in hazardous process, proper care should be taken that this hazardous process or chemical does not harm his health, because every person is human. According to humanity, he should be treated fairly. So just and human condition should be given, maternity relief should be there. Article 43 says that State should, through the legislation or economic organization or any other way, to all workers, agriculture, industrial or otherwise, work for living wage conditions of work, ensuring decent standard of life and full enjoyment of leisure and social and cultural opportunities. So we have minimum wages act, payment of wages act, all those are based upon this particular decent standard life. Article 47, it says that the state should take the measures in order to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living of its people, improve the public health as the common primary duty. So 38, 41, 42, 43, 47 are the important articles of Indian Constitution which talks about providing labor welfare to the employees under directive principles of the state policy. Now, the labor welfare can be divided into the two parts as divided by International Labour Organization, intramural and extramural. So, intramural means those facilities which are provided within the premises of the factory, within the organization within the factory, while the person are working inside the organization, they are called as intramural, and welfare facilities outside the establishment, they are extra. So your sanitation, drinking water, bathing, crèche, restroom, fatigue, health facilities, uniform, protective clothing and shift allowance, these all are intra. Maternity benefit, gratuity pension, provident fund, rehabilitation, physical fitness, family planning and child, these all are the extra provided outside. They are not the within the premises but extra, they are provided as an extra, right? So they are intramural and the extramural facilities, intra within the premises, extra outside the premises. Now, five most important approaches of labor welfare: paternalistic approach, atomistic approach, mechanistic approach, humanistic approach, and utilitarian approach. Now, what do you mean by paternalistic approach? This particular approach believe that employees or the labor are the ignorant part of the society, or they are the inferior social category of society. Worker belongs to inferior category, whereas the owner has the first hand experience and they own the capital, so it's their responsibility to take the care of this employee or the labor. So as in parent, it's their responsibility to give them the labor welfare facility. So here the employer give the labor facilities to the employees as a sense of responsibility and morality of well-being of person employed by them as a worker. So approach assumes that workers belong to inferior social category, always in need to help and charity. Owners of the firm do have the first-hand experience and information of living and working condition of workers in industrial premise. So they know everything. Owner has all knowledge. So it's their responsibility, it's their morality, their you can say treating towards workers as a human. It's their responsibility to take care of their child as in their worker who are working there. The services are formulated and imposed from higher level of authority with the assumption that manager being a more wiser and knowledgeable than the workers, and these activities reflect the attitudinal perception of employer that they have done so much for the workers, now labor class should be loyal to the employer. So in the family, what happens when our parent does something for us, as in family we are loyal to our parents, we are loyal to our family. So same is expected by the labor. So as in parent, employer is providing them the facilities, so now the worker should be loyal. So this is the paternalistic approach. Most of the time it is also called as Gandhian approach since it was given by Gandhiji. Next is Atomistic approach. This approach says that individual should be left free. It means this particular approach does not focus more on labor welfare. According to Atomistic approach, it believes that individuals are free. When they are set free, they would try to move towards those areas where they have interest. मतलब अगर लेबर को if you set the labor free, he would go and work and he would select those areas or he would go to those companies, or in the factory if you set them free they would automatically work. Why they would automatically work? Because they need money for their survival. So it's not at all important to focus much on labor welfare according to this. So it's not, the employer should not focus that much. So atomistic approach was established on the individualistic and rationality concept of the early 19th century. So please remember the concept are independence, individualistic and rationality. It means every single person is individual and he has got his own desire, his own interest. So he would be moving according to them. So you don't have to give them labor welfares. Approach says that every individual should be left as a free as they can attain their own interests best if they are left free. This approach emphasizes that scope of labor welfare facilities should be as small as possible. This hypothesis is based on following important principle. Society in its natural environment is comprised of individual. They are highly unorganized and uncoordinated group. Under such environment, every individual is self-centered and motivated by self-interest. So it says they are self-motivated and they would be moving towards their own interest. So it would be small as concentration or as small as emphasis on the labor welfare. Next approach is mechanistic approach. Mechanistic approach came from F.W. Taylor, who said that it is a kind of a scientific approach. This approach says that whenever you provide a labor welfare facility to the employees can be more efficient, right? So according to this, according to F.W. Taylor or scientific management, if you want to improve the efficiency of the labor, you need to give them labor welfare. Why? One who is having labor welfares would be more satisfied, would be more attached, would be more responsible towards the organization. So in order to increase the efficiency of the labor, you need to provide. Since the beginning of 20th century, labor welfare measures and labor relations have been moved and adopted more sympathetic approach of scientific management improve the scope of efficiency of labor welfare measure, and the industry establishment leads to the development of mechanical approach. This approach assumes worker as a labor performed as sum of the mechanical unit in a man days, hour of work, man hours. It emphasizes is on scientific mean of production and increase the efficiency of the worker. So since it is a scientific method, it believes in using the scientific method in order to increase the efficiency. Scientific and the mechanistic approach is based on the theory of stimulus and response. It means if you create a stimulus like carrot and stick. So if you provide them the labor welfare facilities, they would respond accordingly. So relationship carrot and stick method, that is advocate less for the employee, given by International Trade Union Confederation. Mechanistic approach takes welfare services as social security measure, economic justice, health service and hygienic workplace are not necessary for overall development of the workers. Since it is a mechanistic, since it is a scientific, it believes only on increasing the efficiency. So you act as a stimulus by providing labor welfare, but social security measure, economic justice is not that important for the development of the workers. So this is the mechanistic approach. Overall, if I have to summarize, mechanistic approach relates to scientific management, which says that if you want to increase the efficiency, you need to provide the labor welfare. Next is humanistic approach. Here it talks about on human element. Every single person is human. A sympathetic view, modern, new and sympathetic view of labor measure. It values human relationship. So if you provide the labor welfare to the employees, you are able to build up good human relation between with your laborers, harmony into the organization. When you give the importance to their feelings, their desire, they become more attached to the organization, they become more loyal and their morale is high. So humanistic approach was advocated by Australian sociologist Alton Mayo. He finds that most important thing is to treat labor as a human element of the production. Therefore, it becomes necessary to take new, modern and sympathetic view of labor welfare. Humanistic approach comprise of the human values and relationship. This approach considered attitudes, human personality, feelings of worker while introducing labor welfare. So, It will always give those labor welfare facilities which have got feelings of workers and emotions attached to it. Therefore, it is the evident that humanistic approach of labor welfare takes a progressive view about the labor welfare. Since here emotions are attached, here relationship, human values are talked about, it is considered to be progressive in nature. Last is utilitarian approach. Utilitarian means good for everyone. This particular approach says that you provide the labor welfare facilities and an investment which is good for everyone. If you are providing them labor welfare, you get committed employees and you get more production. So as a result, both are benefited. So under utilitarian approach, expenditure on welfare amenities are seen as an investment. They would preserve employee efficiency for the benefit of the organization. So this was the introductory part of labor welfare and the important approaches of labor welfare. We would be moving to next topic, that is your principles of the labor welfare, in next video. Thank you so much for this video. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the group. Thank you.